An event will take place at the State House October 16th to advance an agenda for Black men and rekindle the spirit of the Million Man March. To tell us about the Black Men's Advocacy Day is a guest from one of the sponsoring groups, the Union of Minority Neighborhoods. We'd like to welcome its organizing director, Matt Parker. Thank you very much for being with us, Matt.
Pleasure to be here.
First of all, for people who don't remember 24 years back, and this is the 24th anniversary, what was the purpose of the Million Man March?
The purpose of the Million Man March was to just focus on building up the spirit and the fraternity and brotherhood of men across the nation, and to bring them together to reinvigorate that wholesomeness of like commitment to ourselves, to our community, and to our families.
And of course, 1995, the year of the march, was 1 year after that sort of decisive election when all those Republicans came into Congress. They had this contract with America. There were a lot of budget cuts, and I guess that shows that, you know, if the wrong people get elected, you have problems.
Absolutely, and we know that currently with our federal government, there are a lot of different controversies and issues and all kinds of cuts and things that just don't look bright for our nation. And we just want to make sure that at least locally and statewide, we have a prominence and a showing of togetherness of what we think is important.
What is to be gained? I mean, we've had women huddling on agendas too, but what do you get from having men focus on their needs together like this?
So specifically Black men, some data has shown that Black men are kind of lagging behind in resources, has one of the highest rates of unemployment. So we just want to make sure that as we build back up fraternity and make sure that we're being accountable to ourselves and sort of beef up that spirit of just how do we have a say-so and how do we affect some change as well.
What about the areas that you see these needs? I mean, look at housing. I mean, a lot of people in Boston are suffering with that right now. Would that be one of the things you're going to address at the State House?
Absolutely. We plan on meeting across with different committee chairs across the legislature for the state, and we just want to let them know our concerns are housing, our public health, all those things that are really important in this day and age that often don't get talked about. We want to make sure our voices are heard about those subjects as well.
Now, I know people say that education, you can look at multiple needs. It could be early education, after-school programs, or even what happens to people when they finish high school and then they struggle beyond that. What kind of things do you think people will be looking into with education?
I think some of all those things and more. We look at the price of what it's costing young Black boys with the education system, the school-to-prison pipeline, the fact that there's a lack of young men finishing college more than ever, especially compared to our female counterparts. So we want to address those things and figure out, is there a way we can monitor that? And if so, how do we do that? How do we measure, and what are our measurement tools for progress?
Of course, the other thing about after-school programs is what kind of things work with kids. And I mean, any thoughts you have about maybe things that we could do differently, maybe?
Absolutely. I think that we have a focus now on young people by giving them a lot of tools and a lot of attention to STEM, but we forgetting like a real critical piece of STEM is creativity. So we got to focus also on arts and how to expand that kind of thought and idea of just including the creativity piece as we're focused on science and tech. And I think giving young people space to do that in a safe way, not just inside the program, but sort of creating wraparound services that really engage young people and keep them focused on those kind of ideas, those kind of interests that they have.
Tell me a little bit about the history of Union of Minority Neighborhoods.
So Union Minority Neighborhoods has been around for about close to 20 years. In Boston, Massachusetts. Our founder, executive director, Horace, is a very well-known, politically savvy, engaged individual. And we focused on just giving upliftment, advocacy, and empowering people to advocate for themselves. We want to do that by educating people on the history of movement work, on creating avenues for teachings and enrichment opportunities, but also giving people tools to strategize and learn how to advocate for themselves.
Of course, I know you're at least one generation younger than Horace Small, but what made you want to get involved with this organization?
I started out as always been involved in organizing. I have a background in youth development, but I started with UMN as one of their fellows. There was a fellowship program called the Howard Wright Institute, and that fellowship program gave us about 9 months to a year of very focused training and workshops and mentorship around civic engagement for young Black and brown men and women. And through that, I haven't been able to get rid of me since.
Now, what is it that makes people want to keep at it with engagement? Because a lot of people, you see politicians on TV and you get cynical. You don't sound cynical. So what's going on there?
Not at all. I think that we realize that it's almost like a lifetime of that uphill battle, and some people just have a little resilience, a little resolve to continue that battle, who are doing it not just for themselves but also for the next generation.
Chris, the other thing is that what you're going to try to get going at State House is some chemistry. First of all, just getting men up there and talking, and I guess you're not just looking for heads of organizations, you're just looking with people who, just have a head on their shoulders and they're trying to look for solutions, I guess, right?
Absolutely. I think every voice is important. And we found that there's a way that everybody has something to contribute to that conversation. And we need more than just our talking heads or the folks who've been around for a long time. There's some young men who have a lot to say. There's some folks who are parents who are in mid-career who have concerns and needs that they want to see addressed as well. And every voice is important because just because it's Black men coming to the table doesn't mean we're all monolithic. We all think and talk the same way. We have a varied experience across the state, so we all should be able to come together and talk about it.
Now, this is going to be happening on October 16th, and what time of the day are we talking about?
So we're going to start about 11 a.m. Going to start with breakfast. We're going to have some fresh fruit, coffee, and then a small speaking program, and then we're going to sit down with different committees and have these kind of conversations and advocate about and have those dialogues about what's really important and ways we can work together with our elected officials to make some progress.
Now, I know you have some more details and you'd like people to let you know if they're going to come, so how can they follow up on that?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody interested can come down that day, but we're asking folks, if possible, to register. Let us know you're coming RSVP at www.bmad.eventbrite.com.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Matt Parker from the Union of Minority Neighborhoods.